Well, my name is Leong. I'm the Vice President for Learning Services at SUSS. I don't have a family picture to show. My children they're not children, they're adults and they're working, so they probably don't like me to show their faces to you at this moment. Okay, that shows how ancient I am, right? Today, my talk will be focusing on this thing called the Harnessing AI to Transform Adult Learning using case study of iSmartGuide at SUSS. Right, before I begin, maybe I'd like to highlight some of the recognition that this platform has received. So bear with me. Right, the recent EduTech Asia, we are the winner for the Best AI Innovation Strategy Award. Also, the recent Go Award for the 2025 Global Digital Intelligence Education. This is the DI idea, and in the category of AI for education. That happens a few weeks ago. We were also the Go Award winner for Tech Innovation Award by eLearning Forum Asia, and we are also recognized for excellence by OpenGov Asia. We are also recognized in this moment, the finalists for the QS Reimagine Education Award, and the actual winner will be announced in December when I will be there to try to convince them that it's worth it, right? And also, for this one, the Gartner is called, what is this called? Gartner Eye on Innovation Award for Education and Higher Ed for APAC, and email stands for, I think is Europe, Middle East, and Asia region. Didn't win, we were just the finalists. Right, these awards and recognition in some sense reflect the dedication of the team at SUSS, in this case my learning services team, and some of them are here to support me. Right, it's not the end, it's the beginning, and it serves to encourage to continue our effort to improve learning and teaching at SUSS. Right, so it's not the beginning, but it's not the ending, but the beginning. A lot more work to do. Right, unlike most of the other AUs, SUSS is a bit different. Anyone know what's a key difference? By the way, do you know what's SUSS? I should have put up a slide to explain what SUSS is. It's Singapore University of Social Sciences, the number 6 AU in Singapore. Right, so we have a teacher here, right? A student here, okay, good. I hope what we did here is helpful for you. You're right, we have a huge population of part-time learners, right? So 80% of our students are part-time learners. They come at night, they come on the weekends to attend classes, while about 20%, which is about 3,200, are full-time students. And we also have a big group of CET learners, 22,000 of them, some doing face-to-face, some doing online. And we have a very small core group of full-time faculty, 270 of them. That is almost equivalent to one department, I think one faculty in NUS or NTU, I think. Right, so 270. Then how do we manage so many students, right? So 13,000 plus 2,000, 15,000 students. We engage a huge pool of part-time teachers. We call them associate faculty. I think most of the other universities call them adjunct faculty. So they are industry practitioners, so they come at night to help to teach our students. So about 1,100 of them. So bring with them rich industry experience that is helpful to keep our education grounded in real-world practice. So that's SUSS. Right, because we have such a big pool of adult learners, all of us understand if you are students and you're working, there are a lot of challenges, right? So I just want to highlight a few. The reason I'm doing this is because this would lead to why the things that we are doing and so on. So the need for flexibility and control. Adult learners, unlike normal PET students, PET stands for pre-employment training, young students, fresh from school. So adult students are different because they do have family, they do have work and other commitments, right? So they need to have learning that fits their schedule. They can come to class, but can you imagine working full day, going for class until 10, reach home 11? Do you have time to revise? No, obviously not, right? So you can find time whenever you can. We did a study of how students are learning, and do you know when are they studying? Are they in the middle of the night? Not really. Sometimes lunchtime, sometimes office hour, because you're always on your laptop, right? So whether you're doing work or you're studying, your boss may not know. So they are doing it whenever they can. So that's an important factor that we need to understand. They can find time whenever they can to study. So they need a lot of control over their learning journey. So you see the three little red words there: limited time, limited support, one size fits all learning, right? At SUSS, when we mention and say that student at risk, the at risk means at risk of attrition, not at risk of performing not as well. So it's a different definition from the other AU, right? So for us, it's literally keeping them within the system. Right, so it's a big challenge for us. Then, the next one would be access to resources. So adult learners need well-structured resources because they don't have enough time to do research like a young student. They need information to be easily accessible. They need adaptive personal support whenever they have time to study. Right, so they cannot wait for an email to be responded by your teacher to tell them that, oh yeah, maybe this is the answer to the query that you have. They don't have that kind of time. And also, direct connection to real-world practice. They stay engaged when learning is practical and linked to the kind of work problem that they face at work. Right? So they need to be able to learn how to apply theory to practice straight away. Right? If they don't see the point of what they're learning in relevance to their job, they lose interest. So these are the things that we recognize that are important, and we wanted to make sure that whatever that we do, we address these challenges. Right, so there's a very special thing at SUSS that we call the study guide. As I mentioned, we need material to be structured, right? So there is a structured process to create this thing called the study guide at SUSS. A study guide basically is a comprehensive material designed for a specific course. So for every undergraduate course in SUSS, we prepare a study guide, and this study guide goes to the students, right? So this is like when I was in SMU, previous life, when I design a course, I come up with the PowerPoint slides, I come up with reference journals and so on, and ask students to go and digest them, right? So these are very unstructured. So structured means there is a certain format, there's a certain template. We give this to the subject matter expert or to the faculty, and they are supposed to fill in this content, and when this is done, we'll work with them on creating multimedia assets. We create formative assessment and all kinds of interactive activities and compile them into an e-book. Right? So every student for every course will receive a study guide that looks alike in every single course they go to. Right? So the study guide consists of 6 study units. Within one study unit, there are multiple chapters. One study unit is equivalent to one lesson that they are attending. And so it goes like this. It's very structured. So there isn't a mandatory attendance for part-time students, meaning to say, try your best, you can, you come, you cannot, no choice, right? If you cannot come, the lessons are recorded, the study guides are there, you can use it to revise and catch up. So that's the purpose of the study guide. So it is a very comprehensive material. So in the past, long time ago, when we started, we give students a hard copy. Right? So this started in 2013. We bring a booklet, and then in tandem with that booklet, we also purchase a copy of the textbook that goes with the study guide and give it to our students. So students in 2013 would come to collect a box. The box inside there is a booklet, which is the study guide, together with a copy of the textbook. Again, this practice is not common, right? I don't think any AU would buy a copy of the textbook for every single student. And you can imagine how much money we spend, right? So that has happened. And we finally digitize it along the way, give them PDF, EPUB, HTML, and so on. In 2020, we decided to put this on VitalSource, which is an online reader platform, and this is to improve reading and note-taking, as well as because the textbook is in VitalSource, we want all of them on one platform. Okay, so good. But the issue with, or not issue, like the benefits of having things on the digital platform is that we can at least understand and track usage. And then we came to realize that actually students don't really read the textbook so much. And we spend a lot of money, and they don't really read it. So we finally decided not to give them textbook. And of course they scream, yeah. So this year we decided to stop giving them a textbook, a copy of textbook for every single student, every single course. You imagine that kind of stuff. So we stopped it, and then they complain, but we give them access to the library that they can borrow the book from if they need to read it. Right? So no textbook, and without the textbook, we beefed up the content within our study guide. Okay, so over time, we moved from traditional paper-based learning to digital learning, which is online, and then as time passes, we also incorporated AI so that it can help students anytime they want. Right, so we continue to adapt, leveraging on technology. Right, this is an architecture that is not unfamiliar. I think by today everybody understands what retrieval augmented generation is, a RAG, right? So the reason for doing RAG is that we want the answers to be drawn from a database, a source that is reliable and is grounded based on what you want, right? So this setup is common, but what is different? Can you see what's different there? The knowledge base, right? I didn't mention just now, but every student is given a copy of the study guide. Beyond that, we are giving all SUSS students access to all study guides. It means to say that entire 800 courses in SUSS, all students can access to all faculty can access to all. So can you see the benefit of that? Just open sourcing everything. Students can decide to learn anything at their own time. Yeah, although you still have to take a course, get the credit. But if you don't want, you want to learn something, go ahead and look for it. You want to understand another course that you want to take, you can look at the course material before you take the course. For faculty, you can look at what course has been developed. Can you do something and in complement with that rather than duplicating it because you have no visibility of what the others is doing? So this is open across the entire universities. So you can see that the knowledge base is the first one. When a student inquire AI tutor, they can point to the AI, which is the study guide of the course that they are studying, or they can point to all the 800 study guides of the entire university, or they can point to 1,000 widely textbook that has been ingested into a vector database. Right? On top of that, we curated about 10,000 open educational resources so students can point there as well. So meaning to say with the AI tutor, it reduces this hallucination. Biasness can never be reduced because human actually is more biased than AI if you want to think about it carefully. Right? So it reduces hallucination, and when there's no answer, the AI tutor basically tells you there is no answer, I cannot find anything within the database or the knowledge base that we have given you. Okay. I'm going to just kind of run through this because I have a certain point to make. This framework is very commonly known, right? Pedagogy, everybody knows, right? Pedagogy is teacher-led approach. Learners receive structured guidance and direction. Then we have andragogy, which is adult learning, self-directed approach. Adult takes responsibility for the learning, supported by real-world relevance. And heutagogy, maybe less known, but what it means is that learner determines their own approach, shapes their own learning path and goals, and focus on the capability and discovery. So in practice, we are, in some sense, working on these approaches together rather than in isolation. So we form some kind of flexibility learning environment to adapt to learners and help them move from guided learning to finally independent learning. However, would you think that in the age of AI, that the way people learn is changing, and maybe perhaps traditional framework may not fully address the impact that AI has in education, which is why I came up with this idea, right? And I call this algogogy, as the word implies. Algo stands for algorithm, gogy is just the rest of the gojis, right? To lead, right? AI to lead. So it means the art and science of learning guided and augmented by algorithms or AI. Right, so this builds on the clear guidance and structure found in pedagogy, value the world relevance and practical learning in andragogy, and support learners' independence and reflective agencies as emphasized in heutagogy. Right, it further goes by introducing shared decision-making, which I will elaborate a bit later, between learners and AI, guiding the educators to ensure that technology strengthens rather than substitute judgment. I think that theme has been there all the time, right? Technology doesn't replace, doesn't substitute, it strengthens. So a quick overview, you look at this and it gives you a very comparative table of the different approaches. So in algogogy, learners learn alongside intelligent systems, right? Learning happens, so of course I advocate for learners to be using technology and AI when they are learning. Learning explores suggestions made by AI, but they make their own decision and judgment, right? Educators, you have to guide interpretation, encourage critical thinking, and ensures that ethical use of technology. That's a very important piece, right? We allow them to use, we encourage them to use, but we need to make sure that they understand how to use it properly. Right? The importance of citing work that is done by others is important. Recognizing the contribution of others is important. And one most important factor is that learning becomes a constant dialogue between learners, AI, and the instructor. Right? Just like the way we converse with AI, it is a dialogue. It's not a one-way thing. It's just constantly going back and forth when we are asking, analyzing, reviewing, and so on. So this approach, in some sense, foster personalization, adaptive learning, and make it relevant, especially for education that integrates AI. And then, in order to substantiate what pedagogy means, I have 5 pillars here to define what it means, and it forms the foundation of how the iSmartGuide works. First one, equity. Just now I mentioned, right? All SUSS students, I didn't mention to alumni, basically from enrollment to alumnihood, you have free perpetual access of iSmartGuide, which contains all the undergraduate courses that SUSS have. Right? All, except for a few law courses. Law is a special program, but the rest of them are all accessible. So that is the part as equity. The reason for this is to promote learning by allowing students to explore topics that interest them. Second, personalization. Right, creating students, of course, can use AI Tutor to create prompts, ask questions, point to the different knowledge base. But for students who don't even know how to prompt, we actually created preset prompts. Right, you can see there from the slides. Give a practical example. When they do that, they don't ask OpenAI ChatGPT. When they ask these questions or these preset prompts, it's pointed towards the 1,000 widely books or the 10,000 open educational resources, right? Because we want it to be grounded on something. We don't want it to be something that they make up, because from ChatGPT, most of the time they make up something that we cannot validate. So our purpose is to help students in their learning, offer a clear starting point because they don't know where to start. And this is, of course, 24/7 ready whenever a student needs help. Third point, mastery and motivation. Right? We want to make sure that students continue to learn and as well as motivated. So we have AI quiz that students learn by prompting them to recall, giving feedback. There's a feedback, helping them to focus on what needs to improve. AI quizzes are generated dynamically from the chapter the students are reading. So meaning to say teachers don't have to pre-plan the quiz. It's drawn from the chapter that the students are reading. And also we have this thing called the flashcards, right? So for students who prefer bite-sized learning, small bits of information, this generated flashcards is useful for them to break down topics into smaller pieces. And both this AI quiz and AI flashcards are based on the Bloom taxonomy. Right? So students, when they're doing their quizzes, they start at a lower level. Once they achieve a certain competency, they move up to the next level. The questions get more complicated, more applied, more evaluative, and so on. The same with the flashcards. Then we have gamification tools. So this is to create some form of competition. We have leaderboards that we actually give small tokens of rewards to the top 30 students and badges that they can earn along the way. And there are also little dials that students can see how they are studying, how they're improving or compared with their peers to know whether they are where they stand, right? Imagine a dial, you are here means you're average, you're here means you're top, you're there means you're in trouble, and so on. Then we also have the inclusive and accessible tools, multilingual support, translation, summarization. We even have a read aloud feature. You can read the entire text or you can highlight a section and it can read it out to you. Okay? And then finally, the last point, empowering educators. And of course, most importantly, we need to be able to help the teachers to, what you saw just now, mostly are helping the students. And so this is the part that the teachers can benefit. They can look at a dashboard that shows the topic that students are struggling. Right? How do you see that? You can see that by how much time students are spending on a particular chapter, what kind of questions are students asking, and so on. Right? So all this can be summarized and given to the teacher at a glance. My plan is to give this to everybody. So don't just the teacher see it, the student can also see it themselves. That's my plan. Right? This moment is not executed. By next year, that's what we want to do. So this allows teachers to spot gaps and be able to help students just before they get in trouble. Okay. So these 5 pillars together help both learners and educators create a more thoughtful and caring environment. I have one more slide, then we will watch the video. Right, so some numbers that we have, since launch, 22,000 learners have used this platform. This was launched at the beginning of this year. And there are about 52,000 AI tutor query being made. 37,000 quizzes were attempted. Flashcards was very new, like 1 month ago, so I don't have the number at this moment. There are some feedback, of course, qualitative feedback here. So students feel that AI quiz help them to prepare for exams, and adaptive questions and feedback is useful. Tutor helps to simplify content, guide them to focus, and the platform enables them to learn beyond their studies. This is something that I'm very happy in, that this is the intention of this platform, being able to open up all materials to everyone so that they can learn beyond what they are required to, right? So this really brings out the spirit of learning and interest that would help them personally. So gamification such as points and stickers also help to improve motivation and engagement. Right, now let's watch the video. I hope that it plays.
In Singapore University of Social Sciences, education is no longer confined to classrooms or graduation ceremonies. It's a lifelong journey of growth, discovery, and innovation. Introducing the iSmartGuide platform, a transformative learning experience designed for students, alumni, and lifelong learners. With access to over 800 iSmartGuides covering all undergraduate courses, this multilingual platform empowers learners to explore beyond their curriculum, fostering interdisciplinary knowledge and self-directed study. Powered by cutting-edge AI, iSmartGuide also offers the AI Tutor. Ask questions about any course or subject and get instant response from either the current iSmartGuide, the wider repository, or from the open educational resources. OER materials can also be downloaded in a PDF format, giving learners a holistic view of the study material and the flexibility to access it offline. The platform can also summarize complex chapters and translate them into different languages, making knowledge more accessible to our racially diverse community. The AI quiz generates adaptive questions based on the chapter a learner is reading. It offers competency-based levels or randomized quiz modes, adapting to the learner's proficiency. The Hints feature provides critical thinking, combining both multiple choice and open-ended questions for comprehensive learning, helping learners build mastery, confidence, and prepare them for examinations. The gamification feature ranks learners based on AI tutor inquiries and AI quiz performance, rewarding the top 30. It fosters competition and motivation, making learning interactive and goal-oriented with tangible rewards and recognition. Earn achievement badges by mastering concepts and stay motivated with nudging features that keep you on track. Learners can also unlock engaging sticker annotation tools as they progress, making the journey more interactive and goal-oriented. The Reader feature offers text-to-speech functionality for learners with special educational needs, enhancing accessibility and fostering an inclusive learning environment through audio and text size adjustability.
Chapter 1. Best Practices.
And with plans to extend access to alumni, the platform supports lifelong learning and continuous professional development. Since its launch, iSmartGuide has positively transformed the learning habits of SUSS students. Over 22,000 students have used the platform. The AI Tutor has resolved more than 52,000 queries, and the AI quiz has already been attempted over 37,000 times since 9 months of its release, demonstrating its effectiveness in promoting knowledge mastery and retention. Unlock the future of learning with iSmartGuide. Hear the excitement from our students as they share how the AI Tutor and AI quiz are revolutionizing education, making learning smarter, more fun, and tailored just for you.
So I used the AI Tutor to actually help me to break down the study material into simpler sections for me to understand the module better.
The AI quiz, that's what I use mostly for my midterms, was to prompted question. Those questions were based on my own learning journey and on my own abilities.
As a flagship initiative uniquely tailored to SUSS, iSmartGuide is more than a platform. It is a commitment to accessible, personalized, lifelong learning and learning powered by AI. Join us in revolutionizing education. Your journey starts here.
And with that, thank you. Open for any questions.
Thank you so much. If you have any questions that you want to ask in person, do raise your hand. If not, I'm going to read out some... there's one question over there.
Thanks, Prof. Very impressive work and certainly prescient. We need a lot more such things. How do you handle the, because you have like quite a large number of RAG documents already, right? So my questions are kind of technical, right? Do you have an in-house RAG team that manages the queries across? You will get many similar answers across different materials. Then how does the AI rank responses, choose responses that is targeted at what the student is learning? That's one question. Then the second question is, we know that every time you update your documents, right, you have to go through a whole process, right? How do you deal with the updates to the system? Because the documents won't stay the same. Yeah. And is it practical to manage such a large RAG repository? How difficult is it for us to do something like that? Thanks.
Okay, good question technically. Just to give you a hint of how big our team is, right? The actual person, we have one solution architect and one developer, and another guy who deals with the OER. So that's the core team, 3 of us, right? So when we talk about RAG, it's the normal ingestion. When we take, remember they talk about the study guide, right? So the study guide, we cut it into many pieces, chunk it together with the metadata, we ingest it into PyCon, right, into chunks. So when these are done ready, it's all ingested into a certain revision. We have a certain revision. So whenever we have a new material that comes in, we'll delete the old one and replace a new one, ingest new ones. So coming to the queries, right? So whenever someone asks a query, this query will be processed through the OpenAI. We use OpenAI. And then it will be pumped into the vector database to find similarities, and we find the top 5. We take the top 5, we generalize it and give it an answer. So it's almost as though every time someone asks a question, it goes through the search process, the syntax similarity search again, and it gives you something, but it generate into a cohesive answer after doing that process. So there isn't a need to remember who does what before. Of course, we do have memories. We have memories of maybe 3 or 4 questions behind. It's basically limited by how big a prompt we can ingest in, we can pump in. So that's the first one. The second one is what? Answer the question. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. So one experience I learned is that to do things like this, you don't need AI scientists. You need full stack developer, right? Because most of these are just calling APIs from OpenAI or some other Gemini or something like this. Yes.
So actually, I'm wondering how. Because I'm also an SUSS student, right? So I'm just wondering how integrated the systems are in the actual syllabus and the teaching of the teachers, and how is that going, basically?
Yes, that is not a technical problem.
Yes.
Yeah. When we designed the study guide, the intention is that this is the core learning resource, and the instructor should use this because they spend time, effort, and money investing in a material like this. And you know that we use so many associates, right? So I think the challenge is communicating effectively to the associate faculty that we have to teach based on this. But because they come and then they use their own PowerPoint slides and so on, the PowerPoint slides are drawn from the study guides. So within the study guides, or now I call the iSmartGuide, we also have chunk lesson recordings that is recorded before. So imagine there are also a lot of video recording of teaching within the system. So it's a matter of communication and ensuring that we all value this rich knowledge base that we have created, and they will teach based on that rather than on some storytelling, right? The issues with the industry practitioners that they love to tell story. So sometimes the story takes up too much time, and then they forgot that these are the key things that they have to cover. So it's not it's a business problem. It's a communication and a business process issue rather than technical. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a question here. I get that students can use this smart guide, but how do we get students to want to use it for educational purposes? I guess this is coming from some of us from other universities here who have experienced students not wanting to do any reading before they come to class, perhaps. You know, maybe they would run their the readings through an AI app and get it summarized into bullets. How do we get them to actually want to do it? Perhaps you may have some advice for us. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a common problem with most institutions, not just NTU. I think everybody faces the same thing, more so for the adult learners who are studying part-time, right? So which is why some of the gamification features that we put in there hope to draw their attention, and then there are quizzes. I'm telling the faculty, please use these quizzes as some kind of participation marks. The moment you put some marks on it, right, student will automatically do it even if they don't want to, right, because they can earn some points in it. But that's something that I cannot force, I can only encourage, because as I said, based on the quiz that they do, they earn points, earn badges, and then they will get something from there, hopefully. Right? Yes, I hope to. Yes, yes. All of them are tagged in some sense, right? When you ingest together with the metadata. So when you do a quiz, we can point to you which section is this quiz drawn from within the text. Yeah. Oh, this is done by the programmer. Yes, the programmer. Don't need. The chunking is done at random. It's just text. Text, imagine one page, you chunk it, you overlap. You don't have to worry about the contextual. Don't have to worry about the subject matter expert. So we do this without consulting any subject matter expert. The Gen AI will do that piece for you. Yes. Yes, we pay for them. We paid for them. Okay, Wiley is one of the most forward-looking. We talk to all publishers. No one dare to ingest their textbook for us to use. Wiley happens to be willing. We're willing to pay money. We paid money. So those are paid. Yeah. Open resource, of course, is free, like OER. We started with OER, but we feel that we need some real solid, rich content, which is why Wiley comes in. I've spoken to all the publishers. None of them are willing to do it except Wiley. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Leong.